Hey, good morning, everyone. There was a famous pianist who once said that if I don't practice for 1 day, I know the difference. If I don't practice for 2 days, my critics know the difference. If I don't practice for 3 days, the audience knows the difference. Or as someone once said, that failing to prepare is preparing to fail. This week's Torah portion is called Shemini. It's actually the first day that Aaron, the high priest, begins his service in the temple. Why do we call it Yom HaRishon, the first day? Yet we call it the 8th day. Why is it called the 8th day even though it's the first day of his service? Because it was preceded by 7 days of preparation. Shivat Yimei HaMeluim, which was the pre-inauguration, which allowed Aaron to begin his service on day number 8. And the lesson is very clear, that when it comes to doing a mitzvah, the preparation is part of the mitzvah. It's called sometimes hechsher mitzvah, that which allows the mitzvah to be performed. There's a halach in the Rambam that if an employee comes to work and he has to sharpen his tools, and then he starts working, you have to pay him for the time that he sharpened his tools, because that's part of his work. Same thing, if a person comes to shul and he spends a few minutes learning Torah before he starts davening to inspire himself, to warm himself up, to prepare himself for the prayer, that's part of the mitzvah prayer. Every mitzvah requires preparation, and the reward, the schar, is not just for the actual mitzvah, but for the time and the effort that was involved in doing the mitzvah. So that's all a part and parcel of the mitzvah, because the quality of the mitzvah is very much dependent on how much time and effort and preparation went in. Shabbos is the best example. A rabbi says, Misha tarach be'erev Shabbat yochal b'Shabbat. The more you prepare before Shabbat, the greater your Shabbat will be. It doesn't just mean to cook good food and prepare with a nice lavish meal, that too. But also, you learn the Parsha, you get ready to have nice Divrei Torah at your Shabbos table. That's all part of the preparation for Shabbat. And as a matter of fact, we prepare for Shabbos all week. That's why we say Yom Rishon b'Shabbat, Sheni b'Shabbat, and that elevates the Shabbat, and therefore all the preparation is part of the mitzvah. There's a story told about a contractor. He worked his whole life for a construction company. One day comes to his boss, he says, I'm 65, I worked hard 40 years, I want to retire. I'm retiring so I can enjoy my life. Me and my wife, we're going to travel, we're going to have a good time. He says, why? The boss says, I understand, that's great, but I need one favor for you. He says, what? He says, I have one more house I need to build, one more project. You're the best general contractor manager I have. I want you to oversee one more project before you retire. He couldn't say no. His boss was a good boss, 40 years, he took care of him. He said, fine, I'll do this one last project. But he was rushing because he wanted to get over with the project so he could move on with his retirement plans and his vacations and his enjoyment. So he started to work on this project, but he didn't take the time to thoroughly build it properly. He got the best, whatever he can get his hands on, the materials he could get on, the laborers he could hire. He did the quickest job he could do. Put the house together. He walks into his boss. He says, okay, the job is done. The house is built. Here's the key to the house. I'm ready to go retire. And the boss gets up and takes the key and says, actually, this is your retirement gift. I wanted you to build this house because I wanted it to be a present for your retirement. It's your key. It's your house. It's my present to you. And then he said, oh, Gavald, all the cheap material I used and the shoddy laborers, I rushed to get the job quickly done. Now I have to live in that house. And that's the metaphor. In life, we build our house. We build our circumstances. If we cut corners and we rush and we don't put in the proper time, we pay the price because we live in that reality, in that world. So there's no such thing as saving time or saving money. The more time, the more effort you put into something, especially when it comes to doing the mitzvah, the more reward and benefits we gain.